Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we're here at the gorgeous Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, located at 700 Clinton Street in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey. And we want to wish everybody a happy new year. And just because we're in 2024 doesn't mean we're not going to bring you these fabulous dishes every month here from Il Tavolo. But folks, we have a curveball we're throwing at you today. You know, we said it's the new year. You know, we love all of our foodies. Of course, that's Daria, Krista, Jenna, and Megan. But tonight, we have a different foodie for maybe one time, two times. We shall see. Of course, you know him as our guest contributor multiple times on this show, always making fun of our resident political analyst, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, which is very easy to do. True. And that is my good friend, Frank Rosner. Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year. Pete, it's good to be on the show with this stuff. This is just great. Frank, I cannot wait.
The show has been on now for over 5 years, smashing success because of its executive producer / host.
Of course,
you know,
of course.
and everybody that works on it.
No doubt.
Exactly. No. And Frank, what have you been telling me? I want to do food.
I want to do food, and I love to do food. You know, it's one of my favorite things. And you know, when you asked me to do this, I was right there. I want to jump on this. This is terrific.
Will you be as good as our four foodies, though, is the question.
We will have to see. I mean, obviously, they're all better looking than me, but they can't do this.
Oh, well, there you go. How many times did you score with that?
Not a lot.
Anyway, well, so Frank, you've seen the show, you've been on the show, but you've seen plenty of food segments.
Absolutely.
You know that we have three awesome dishes in front of us. First of all, you are a Hoboken native. You've lived here for how long?
43 years.
That's longer than I've been alive. So, you know.
Wow, that makes me feel great.
So, Frank, Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, you know, he opened this, Frank Palmisano, along with his brother, Father Peter Palmisano, opened this during the pandemic. They are just, you know, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful owners. It's been here 3-4 years now. I'm sure you've been here before.
Been here once before. I had the chicken parmesan, I believe, at the time.
Was it outstanding?
It was great. It was great with I had angel hair spaghetti with it. I didn't get the regular spaghetti. The angel hair was great.
Angel hair was great.
It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so good. So these three dishes are something new that you're going to try.
That's correct.
And the one in front of you is the wild mushroom bruschetta. And by the way, with the last name of Rosner, you know, he knows all about the vowels being.
That's correct.
So we're going to allow you to dig in. Of course, a bruschetta is
what do you call this one again?
The wild mushroom bruschetta.
Wild mushroom bruschetta. Oh. Wow. This is terrific. I'm telling you, I'm going to take a little thing here. Yeah, oh my goodness!
And there's of course a little cheese on there.
Oh, it looks great. It looks great.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're gonna let you dig in. And
let me dig in here.
If you look while Frank digs in, oh come on, you got to take a better bite than that.
He's I'm gonna
with a fork and a knife.
No, I'm gonna. Yeah, well, you know.
Hey. Wow, he's actually proper. Our foodies can learn something, huh?
Boy, that mushroom strip was great. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Let me.
While you dig in,
I'm gonna get some cheese on that.
They have a vast variety of bruschettas here, and this is actually what they're known for. All right, Frank, talk to me.
Wow.
The little ricotta on there too, as you could see.
The ricotta's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's great. It's a nice mix with the bread and the mushroom strips. And once you add the ricotta on top of that, I took a whole taste, just like a bruschetta.
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 I was going to say.
That's right. I know bruschetta, but this is bruschetta. What is it again?
Bruschetta.
Bruschetta.
There you go.
I'm going to have to dig deep and get it in. But it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Now, and you know, so a good meal to start with as an appetizer, correct?
Absolutely, 100% with a nice little martini.
Ooh.
Or if you want some, I would go with some red wine as a pairing.
Wow.
Oh, terrific. A Sauvignon Blanc or an Italian Ruffino, I think. Ruffino.
Listen, you know more about the liquor game than I do there, Frank. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Now, and of course, they have a full bar here, so all the drinks you just mentioned, you can definitely get here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Frank, talk to me. Now, what our foodies do all the time is they rank it. And since it's your first time, you know, I'm going to give you, you know, a little bit of a normal scale, as I like to say. So out of 10, what do you rank this mild mushroom bruschetta?
I'm thinking about an 8 maybe an 8.5, but
8.5?
only because of the ricotta.
Oh, wow. I love
The
that.
combination of the ricotta, the bread is great. I mean, but when you put a combination of the mushroom and the cheese, the ricotta, oh my God.
Phenomenal. Absolutely
my
phenomenal.
God.
I love to
Unbelievable.
hear that. All right.
Like,
Now,
look at this.
whoa. We got 2 more dishes here, and we're running out of time.
Oh, there's
already.
plenty of room. Plenty of room. All right, let's go.
All right. So next is a very, very traditional Italian dish, but a lot of people get this wrong.
Oh my
and
God.
that is our eggplant parmesan dish here at Il Tavolo. Are you a big eggplant guy?
I love eggplant.
All right. Dig in there.
Even Debbie makes eggplant.
Oh, Debbie's his wife, of course.
And she's German. And she makes a good,
He's
oh
going
my
to say
God.
his wife's eggplant is better than this one because he does not want to sleep on the couch tonight. So,
Well, that's not necessarily true.
oh, I
Not
love
necessarily,
that.
not at this point, but you never know.
Yeah. So while you dig in, Frank,
Oh man,
look at the piece they give you here.
that's unbelievable.
I mean, that'll feed you for days. I feel like.
absolutely
Well, me for days.
Well, no, I would cut it and I wouldn't be able to. Even me would not be able to eat this entire dish here. It's incredible. I'd take half home.
Amen.
You know.
Amen. Dig in there, Frank. Oh my God, that looks absolutely phenomenal. And folks, again, this is a very, very common dish, but I'm sure Frank's gonna. Wow. I mean, that was a great grasp there.
Wow.
Talk to me.
It's heaven. I'm in heaven.
Heaven.
And I really do love eggplant. I really do love it. The gravy, or otherwise known as sauce. See that? Gravy and sauce? Depends on...
It's sauce.
Right.
Gravy is what you put on your turkey at Thanksgiving.
Well, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what I say.
But I know a lot of Italians that say gravy instead of sauce.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Oh, they're wrong. All right. We'll go by Pete.
There you go.
But this is phenomenal.
Okay, so you said the sauce is great, and look at the
sauce
cheese
is great.
too.
The cheese is
and by the way,
terrific.
Did you notice what else is on top of that?
Ricotta.
More ricotta. Oh, he says that perfectly. By the way,
That is. You know what? Now that you mention it.
Oh,
Well,
dig in.
you know what?
Just take a scoop.
Put a little scoop. Put it. Oh,
I knew
my
he
God.
wasn't going to be embarrassed on camera. Don't worry.
Oh, man, not when it comes to this. So much for the diet.
And too bad. Oh, unbelievable. All right, you got to do a ranking here. Out of 10, Frank, the eggplant parmesan.
This for me is a 9.
9.
Oh yeah,
Fantastic.
some of that ricotta.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, and believe it or not, Frank, I'm gonna appetite your palate, I should say, with yet another dish here.
Oh my
Now,
God!
this is something that you normally see at Spanish restaurants, and that just goes to show you what type of menu Il Tavolo Di Palmisano have.
Wow.
Because they kind of put it in a little twist. It's a seafood risotto. Of course, you see at Spanish restaurants the paella, right? But this is made with risotto, which I always think is better rice. And of course, seafood.
Look at that seafood. Oh, that's pulpo.
That's calamari.
It's calamari. In Spanish is pulpo. Yeah,
exactly.
Let me hold
on. Oh, he's doing a smell test, folks.
My goodness.
All right.
Most of the time I have, if they have soup de pêche.
Yeah.
What I'll usually do is I'll ask for that, but with just a little bit of the pêche, more tomato sauce, and then it's a fra diavolo, seafood fra diavolo.
This is right up your alley, then. Let me tell you. Try it, Frank.
You know what?
Let's go.
I'm not even going into this.
Oh,
we got
He's going
this
plate first.
Oh
my goodness. Trust me, the crew has their mouths open because they were really hoping to bring this home later on.
Hell with the first down. I'm going for the touchdown. And then I'm going for the 2 points after that. Oh my God! It smells just. Oh my.
Go ahead, dig in. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Yeah. What are the flavors that are hitting your mouth right now?
The sauce, the seafood, little seafood pattern of it. The oh my God! The calamari is great.
Okay. And the risotto?
The risotto is phenomenal when you combine it with this. It's great. Oh my God!
So we ran out of time actually. So a quick score, and then I'm going to make you finish that.
This is going to be a 9. I would take this with me.
Wow, 9.
Heck, I'm taking all of them with me.
Yeah, you averaged out about a 9 here in all the dishes.
Phenomenal.
Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, one of your favorite restaurants in Hoboken?
Absolutely.
All right, folks, you heard it from our guest contributor who's filling in as a Places Insider or Food Insider today, and that is, of course, Frank Rosner. I'll let you enjoy. Thank you for doing this, buddy.
Oh, no, anytime. If you come, get this.
All right.
Get any one of them, but this is great. Oh, I love this.
I love it. Thanks again, Frank. Really appreciate it. All right, folks, from Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, located at 700 Clinton Street in Hoboken, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Pulse with Joshua Sotomayor and Frank Rosner here hosting for Peter Biancamano of The Pulse. Merry Christmas, everyone out there. Hope you're all well. I think we can wish them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well.
It's true. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's season. And I hate the term Happy Holidays because while we're both members of groups that don't celebrate Christmas, the country is off for Christmas and New Year's. Not for Hanukkah, which is a great holiday.
That is correct.
Huge holiday. Great holiday.
And if you're going to say Hanukkah, you have to say, it's genetic. It's like when you're expectorating.
Mm-hmm.
So,
very true.
Let's get to it, Josh. It appears lately that the international news has now come to Hudson County.
How so?
Well, the great migration to the north, which is basically to our country from the south and basically almost every other place on earth. They still want to come here. However, now they're sending them to Hudson County. Your thoughts, please.
So you said a lot of words, and now I have to interpret for the audience what you were talking about.
Tell the audience.
From Frank into English.
We've got a border problem. That's essentially.
We're not even a border state. No, so since Mayor Adams in New York City, while pretending that he's still welcoming to illegal aliens, has now made a local rule that will eventually be overturned in the courts, that buses with illegal aliens can only come drop off their passengers certain hours and on only one location. Otherwise, they'll be ticketed and or actually removed by the state. So instead, what bus drivers are doing from these contracted bus companies by the border states, which are both Democrat and Republican, they're beginning to drop people off in Secaucus and giving them a train ticket so that they continue their great trek north into New York City. Eventually, we'll start seeing them more and more in the area. I mean, obviously, we've always had a fair amount of illegal immigrants in New Jersey, but we'll see even more as the area becomes super saturated.
And that thus it makes it Hudson County involved in an international issue now.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, have we seen any migrants, asylum seekers coming across the border, winding up in Hoboken?
Well, I refuse to validate the language that you chose because everyone can say that they're a migrant or that they're an asylum seeker. There's no incentive for anybody to say, hey, I just came for economic reasons. And again, I don't begrudge the individual illegal alien anything who doesn't want to make their life better. And I give them mad props because they've done something I could never do. They've moved, halfway across the globe or even a quarter of the way across the globe. And they have a very large, I don't know if I could say that. We'll just bleep it just in case. So I have mad respect for them. But, the vast majority of illegal aliens are doing it for economic reasons, not because their country is a totalitarian dictatorship and they're being persecuted. Now, the ones that actually do come from dictatorships like Venezuela and Cuba or come from war zones like Ukraine, I totally think that we need to have some sort of system for them to come here legally as opposed to just paying coyotes to bring them across the border, in a very dangerous way through Mexico. What we have right now is not an immigration system, and that complete lack of immigration system is coming to New Jersey.
I think we may be agreeing on this subject, which cataclysmic, actually. However, I do think that the vast majority of the people, as you said, are coming for economic reasons. The other half are coming for asylum. That's why I use that word. And I believe the vast majority of these people coming are not poisoning the blood of our country.
Oh, well, I mean, it's very easy to say when we have no system for vetting people whatsoever. I mean, right now, so let's say you're an illegal alien. You sneak into America. And right now, we estimate that we're catching and then releasing 10 to 12,000 people every day in the last couple of months.
Which was the
So-
Obama doctrine, by the way, right? Catch
So,
and
I
release,
mean,
or was that even prior?
It's more or less been the de facto policy of every administration,
Since-
Democrat and Republican,
Got it.
other than President Trump, that used COVID as a very good excuse to have them remain in Mexico. Because
Wow.
if one looks at international law, if one is claiming asylum, one claims asylum in the next country that you're in, not the country that's like 30 countries later. So
Agreed.
I know people that have extended family members that have come from Cuba and from Ukraine,
As do I.
that have flown here, that have flown to Central America and then made their ways through several countries in which they were not politically persecuted, in which it was not a war zone, which they were safe. They didn't claim asylum in those countries.
That's correct.
They used the fact that they were fleeing someplace that was horrible, and the fact that we don't have border control in this country whatsoever, and to come to the United States. And most of the illegal immigrants are going to be fine people, just like you and me. But some, because everybody in the world, including our enemies, whether they're terrorists, whether the communist Chinese, knows that we have no border control, bad people come and are like, oh, well, I'll just do the same thing that all these hundreds of thousands of people are doing. And so we don't know who's in our country, and we don't know what they're planning. All we do know is that when you have a vulnerability, an enemy is going to take advantage of that.
I don't disagree with you. I think it's very hard to control. And again, the vast majority are good people. They're looking for a better life. They're trying to escape from the environments where they are, obviously. Again, they're not going to poison our blood of our country. They'll actually help it. If they do get a job, if they get an offer, they'll be paying taxes. They'll be doing all the stuff that all the normal people are doing. And by the way, I still think they'll be taking jobs that most Americans don't want. Would you agree on that level or no?
No,
And
as usual, your head is up your tuchus,
Well,
and you're talking out of your
Get it.
out of your I can't think of a synonym for tuchus that we can put on air. Your rear quarters. Bringing in undocumented illegal alien employees to replace the American working poor does the same thing that outsourcing jobs in manufacturing did to manufacturing in the United States. It creates a system whereby, one group of people, the Americans of all different types, black, white, brown, gay, straight, and everything in between, are playing by one set of rules. And then the corporate elite gets to benefit by bringing these people that aren't Americans and having them play by a different set of rules where they don't actually pay them what the legal minimum wage is. And if you're going to pretend that that's the case, then your head is further up your tuchus than anybody out there in TV land ever thought.
well, I'm glad that you brought this out for me, because it's actually something that the Congress or even states can legislate about, these corporations not being able to hire these people. Would you agree?
The reality is that we have these laws on the books already, and it's because
They're
of
not being followed.
because of people like you that want to make every excuse possible for the fact that we don't have immigration, whether it's people that overstay their visas or people that just traipse across the border when they paid coyotes who also bring in drugs, $30,000 or whatnot, whatever it takes to get smuggled to the United States. But for years, people wanted to pretend this problem didn't exist, and the federal government was shipping illegal immigrants all across the country. But it wasn't until the border states, at least one of which is ruled by a Democratic governor who's all about this, started shipping people via bus to New York City and Chicago and other places, that now all of a sudden these Democratic mayors now care about it, because they're like that now they feel the effects as if they were actually a border city, that there actually is a negative, that there is a consequence, that you can't have two systems of law, for different peoples just because one is an illegal and one was born here, that you have to have equality before the law. And that's what really matters.
Well, you know what, as far as a novel item, I mean, busing them to New York, I thought the best thing was DeSantis flying them to Nantucket. Do you remember that event?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And
listen,
that's why DeSantis is, well, I'm not going to finish.
the 1% should live with the consequences of their actions.
Well, they do. The 1% live with the consequences, not so much as the consequences that we live with. They just get more. We get less.
It's very true.
That's the only consequence that they suffer, which is no suffering at all.
Well, I know I'm so glad that you were able to host this segment. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody out there in TV land?
Well, goodbye, everybody. Good night, good day, whatever, and have a great one. And we'll see you on the next The Pulse.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano still here at the beautiful Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, located at 700 Clinton Street in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey. And the person to my right was doing the Tommy Cutlets, but we ain't going to talk about that because the team that Tommy Cutlets plays for is awful. And of course, that is the New York Football Giants. They're not in first place like my Dallas Cowboys are at the end of the season, but let's hope they win later today and clinch the NFC East. And of course, that is our sports insider and 17-year former NFL fullback, my good friend Tony Richardson. Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year as well.
How's it going?
You know, it's going pretty good. You know, the playoffs are about to start. This is when we call it the crunch time. So things are starting to change a little bit. You did mention that your Cowboys are looking really good. Dak's having an MVP season, so we'll see what happens.
Well, why don't we start with that?
Yep.
So that wasn't even in my notes to you, but come on now.
Hey, that's why we vibe together.
Everybody was criticizing Dak Prescott last year because of his interceptions. He was coming off a little bit of an injury. Not a little bit of an injury. I mean, it was a gruesome injury the year before. Yeah. This year, he is in the MVP running with probably Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy from the San Francisco 49ers. Who do you like in that race?
You know, right now, I'm going to have to go with Lamar Jackson. It's one of those things. I don't think sometimes he gets to do credit just because he is not reigning MVP, but he's been an MVP. But what they've been able to do in Baltimore is, I mean, they've just been quiet. And it's funny because I've really probably only watched one of their games from start to finish. And I don't know why, just because maybe we're in the area, we always get the Jets and the Giants. But what Baltimore's putting together, what Lamar Jackson is doing, I would definitely say he's my MVP right now.
And I have to agree with you. I love Dak to death, but I have to agree with you that he's in the league. Until Dak can beat a good team on the road, right? You know, and that's the thing that scares me about the playoffs. It really does. Anyway, why don't we talk about the biggest surprise this season? We are in the final week of the NFL regular season. Who is your biggest surprise?
You know, right now, and I know a lot of people are not going to say it's a surprise because of how great their defense is playing, but I'm going to say the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So Kevin Stefanski was he was our assistant running back coach when I was with the Minnesota Vikings, and so I've kind of seen methodically how he's building this. Their defense was compared. Now, obviously, you can't go there with the 1985 Bears, but their defense with Myles Garrett are playing lights out. But you lose your quarterback, obviously, who you invested a lot of money in. Then you put in the astronaut, and then he leaves, and then all of a sudden you get a guy off the couch who was just taking his kids to school. And now they're right there in the thick of things. And so my biggest surprise now is Cleveland.
And of course, that person off the couch was Joe Flacco, who, when he was playing with the Jets, definitely looked like he still belonged on the couch. And now he's certainly revitalized his career. Amazing, huh?
Yes, absolutely amazing. I mean, you think about it, like, it's funny because I put myself in, I'm a little bit older now, obviously, but I put myself in that situation. If someone told me right now I had to go play a game on Sunday.
You could do it. I have faith in you, T.
No, I got faith in myself. One play, and then they're going to have the ambulance come out there on the field. I got to give mom the one thumbs up. They're going to take me off the field. But no, that's nothing less than, he said, like, when the kids get out of school, he's just like, hey, get 10 years ago. He was out there throwing the ball around like that. But he still has one of the prettiest passes and the leadership and just really plug and play. But it has a lot to do with Kevin Stefanski.
Awesome. Okay, we spoke about the biggest surprise. Now we need to talk about the biggest disappointment.
I hate this.
And we spoke about this before the segment started. Your biggest disappointment in the NFL this season as we approach the last week of the regular
I hate
season.
to do this because last year I literally almost got in a fight at the Super Bowl because my Chiefs were playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. So right now, to say the biggest disappointment of the Philadelphia Eagles, I hope there's no Eagles fans in the area because they probably would be throwing stuff in the window because Eagles fans are a little bit loco.
Yeah,
that's my biggest surprise, just because I felt like they made it to the Super Bowl last year. Most teams, obviously, is a Super Bowl hang-up. But this, for some reason, it just doesn't look like the same team. I mean, you have all the pieces and everything else, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because Hurts is hurt or Hurts is hurt. That's a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
But something's either the chemistry, something's just really off, and they're just not playing like the team that was just in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, amazing. It really is a complete turnaround. And remember, they started out, what was it, 11-1 or 10-1 or something
and
like
now
that?
fighting just to even make the playoffs.
And fight,
Well,
yeah.
I think
I mean,
they're
they're probably going to clinch the wild card,
Yep.
right behind my Dallas Cowboys. Anyway, let's move on. So there are two divisions in the NFL that are always wild cards, in my opinion. I mean, they are the cellar dwellers when it comes to division leaders.
They just make sure that we have enough teams on the schedule to complete 17 games.
Exactly.
I'm going to get in trouble for that one, too.
And that's the AFC and the NFC South. Now, there are monster matchups in both of those divisions today because you have three teams that are still in the thick of things who can either win the divisions or not make the playoffs.
Exactly.
Why don't we start with the AFC South? Those three teams are the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, and of course the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you like to prevail in that division and possibly make a run in the playoffs?
To tell you the truth, I'm probably going to go with probably the dark horse, but I'm going to probably say the Houston Texans because I like what the head coach is doing, D'Amico Ryans, and obviously their young quarterback. I guess he's a little banged up right now, but I've actually got a chance to see him. Actually, I was at the Jets game when he got injured, but I just really like what they're doing. I think the guys are buying in. I get a chance to listen to J.J. Watt on, I can't mention, I guess it's the other network, but he's always on. But he even talks about the other network. But he even talks about just the way that defense is composed. So my I guess long shot is going to be the Houston Texans.
Yeah. And do you think they might make a stink in the playoffs?
You know what? The biggest thing is all you got to do, and we've talked about it all the time, just get on the dance floor because you can't dance if you're not on the dance floor. And crazy things have happened. Obviously, we got two Giants fans, unfortunately, in the house today.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And think about, there was a time when the Giants, they were talking about benching Eli. Next thing you know, they went on a run, they win the Super Bowl. So all you got to do is just get in there, and then as long as the music starts and you're on the dance floor, you can dance.
And I'm going to tell these Giant fans here, it's going to be a long time to another Super Bowl, all right? Anyway, so now let's talk about the NFC South. I mean, again, whoever wins that division is going to be fourth and get a home playoff game, so it's important. And you have the New Orleans Saints, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course the Atlanta Falcons, all battling for that one playoff position. Again, winner might win the division. One team might win the division, or another team might not even make the playoffs. Who do you like in that division?
I'm going to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because I think now finally Baker Mayfield has found a home. They've always had talent. Obviously, Tom Brady he didn't come off the couch. He came off the beach with 16 abs. He jumps in there and then wins the Super Bowl in his first year. But now you got Baker, and it seems like all Baker really needed was someone just to kind of believe in him, because he obviously believes in himself. But the fact that now you can just really see him really blossom and kind of like just take on that leadership role. So my brother lives in Tampa, and Tampa fans are really going crazy about this whole rave. But and you got Todd Bowles, a former New York Jet coach,
Great
who's
coach.
a great coach, obviously from the area, and so I'm definitely pulling for them.
All right. Well, we're going to give the audience a little bit of a preview since we are in the last week of the regular season of the playoffs. Are there any teams that you didn't expect to be there that are there now and might make a run, to possibly a championship game or even a Super Bowl?
You know what? It was kind of sneaky, and I know my pick wasn't the Rams, but for some reason, the way the Rams are coming together right now, if they got in, I could see them because they have the pieces. They have a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. They have a coach that's coaching the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl. So I think if the Rams are able to get in, that would be a team you're like, man, where in the world did they come from?
Right.
But then you look at the pieces. They got a young receiver. They got who's a great receiver?
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And they're running the ball really well. And obviously you still have Aaron Donald on that side of the ball. Wreaking havoc. I would think if they get in, they would be a team that you got to reckon with.
That's amazing. Yep. And you hit the nail on the head because they know how to win.
Definitely.
And that's what's important. And you would think the Eagles know how to win as well with all the nail biters they've been in the last few years, but I guess the wheels are falling off the bus very quickly, right? All right. So at the beginning of this season, you were on the Pulse with Peter B. And you said that your Super Bowl prediction was going to be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Mr. Tony Richardson. T-Rich, are you sticking with this prediction?
No, because there was a young lady that got dropped out of the sky by the name of Taylor Swift, and all of a sudden, and I got a chance to meet her. I met her here in Arrowhead.
Is that true? I heard she's very nice.
Super nice, but she was in the booth next to us when all the celebrities came to New York to watch the Chiefs, play the Jets. And then when we had to sneak her out of the suite, I was actually there. We had to sneak out of the suite in the popcorn machine out of Arrowhead because all the Swifties were lined up. So ever since she came, for whatever reason, the Chiefs are not my favorite. So right now, I'm going to tell you right now, the Super Bowl, right now, if it's played today, it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers, and it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sorry about your Cowboys. I mean, no.
You said Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, I don't know. Taylor Swift, she got me too. No, I'm definitely going with the Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
I was thinking about Florida. Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going with Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. I'm
not
no,
gonna say anything.
listen,
I'm not gonna say
listen. I gotta give all the credit to Jerry Jones, obviously,
What about Mike McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy. But I'm saying that's where I got my first start to get into the National Football League. So quietly, I always want to see the Cowboys do well. But unfortunately, you'll be watching the playoffs and Super Bowl with me, and it will not be the Cowboys. It'll be the 49ers, and then it'll be Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens are really putting this together. And I think Baltimore Ravens, and I think Lamar Jackson gets his MVP, and he gets Super Bowl MVP, and they get a ring.
I'll tell you what, we'll invite you back,
Yeah.
Once the San Francisco 49ers are eliminated and my boys are still in there, and we'll see if your prediction changes.
I'm just telling you, we put some money on it. I can't gamble because I work for the league office, and you can't either.
I was going to say, I know.
We'll put some nice pasta on it.
There you go, in this beautiful restaurant.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
Tony Richardson, our sports insider, former 17-year NFL fullback. Great to see you, my man.
Great
We'll
to see
you in the playoffs.
Yeah,
all
we'll
right,
see you in
brother?
the playoffs after the 49ers lose.
There you go. I like it. Thanks again, my
All
man.
right, thank you.
All right, folks. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.